This is the chapel of Rechmia. It's not actually his tomb, which is somewhere else, but it's an absolutely amazing piece, as befits the vizier. Just look at the detail. All of these people prostrated before the Grand Master himself, working up on the various projects, sifting sand, baking bread, pounding meat, all of the things needed to keep everything going. And he was in charge of the whole thing. Okay, so here we are in the tomb of Sennefer and Merit. Sennefer was the overseer of the grounds and granaries and crops and gardens for the Temple of Amun. In other words, he was kind of the royal exchequer, or the banker. This is often called the Tomb of the Vineyards, and hopefully you can understand why looking at this incredibly low roof. I get to stand over here, but that piece will definitely be a duck. But first I want to take a look here. This is Sennefer and Merit, his wife. And there they are. He's receiving all of these offerings and gifts. And going through the process. Same thing on this side. We'll notice the headdresses, the gold, the statues, the myrrh, all of those different pieces, all of these beautiful offerings. He was a man of wealth, and during his time, he was actually allowed to place a statue of himself and his wife in the Temple of Karnak itself. We're going to go on through here into what is undoubtedly a very amazing piece. You don't put glass around anything unless it's well worth protecting. And look how awesome this is. Look how much this is worth protecting. Here we are, Sennefer in the shade of the trees. His wife down below. Remember the difference between men and women at times, or people of power and people of less power. Here we have the two of them. She's giving him some flowers and lotus. Let's take a quick look over here. The detail and the beauty of these things is just amazing. Not only in the pictures, but in the designs. Let's look at the roof. Look at that. And it's everywhere. Every square inch of this place has been painted. Now, obviously, some of it has been destroyed or fallen off or otherwise taken out, but whatever was here was totally done up. He spared no expense in making sure that he and his wife had only the best for their funeral. And there it is, the funerary procession, as they head off towards Abydos, towards the root of the underworld, with Osiris over here. As we continue on, we're just going to sit back up and look back up at the vineyards. Obviously, the grapes in the vineyards was a big thing, or an important thing, or a big motif for him. I'm guessing that his gardens were very much a part of that. Oh, I want to photograph every square inch of this. This is absolutely astounding. Look at it all. Look at it all. Right, there they are. Off on the boats. Oh, sorry, I think this might be our funerary procession. There's Osiris and Anubis Anubis again with his eyes scratched out because as a god of evil and darkness, they didn't want him in later years being depicted, or at least having his eyes. And there again, Senefer and Merit giving their honors to two of the major gods. This is absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And to think, this is thousands of years old. I get the feeling from that this is a foreign noble bringing some sort of offering. That would be my official guess. My unofficial guess is I have no freaking clue. But just want to check out one last piece here. Look at the two jackals watching over the entrance to the tomb. One last look, and then we will head off somewhere else. All right. We're about to enter the tomb of Uzarhat. We'll just see if we can do this. Now, it's way too sunny for me to see what you're looking at, but I'm going to assume that you can see that, and I'll let you pause and take a look. Uzarhat, the high priest in the mortuary temple of Thutmose I. So we're way back, Ramses I, Seti I. This is 1,200 years, almost 1,300 years BCE. A couple of things to take a look. Actually, let's see if we can focus in on that. A scene depicting the temple of Thutmose I, the weighing of the heart ritual, and Uzarhat with his wife and mother surrounded by a sycamore tree. So we're going to take a look. It's a fairly quick and easy tomb. There's not too much to it, but it is absolutely amazing. We're going to come over here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look over here. And there we are at the ritual weighing of the heart. You can see Thoth on one side and Maat on the other. You can see just the chest of the devourer and the scales, of course. As we move on, we're heading on into the temple. There we have Horus Ra. Right there, our falcon-headed god. And here we go. It looks like we've got the opening of the mouth ritual there. I might be wrong, but I could be right. All of our mourners over on this side. And of course, as we back up, our ceremonial bark, that symbolic boat that carries them off into the afterlife. As we head on over through the back, we'll notice right here it's not quite finished yet. They still have the ruler lines and the rough marks of what they were about to do, but they never finished it off. So here we've got bits and pieces more than anything else. Let's go take a look at this side, because this is some amazing work. Here, Amun-Ra, or at least what looks like Amun. And right over here, the canopic jars. All of the offerings for the high priest, the pouring out of wine and all of the various things offered by Uzarhat and his wife. There we are, more paid mourners crying away and mourning. Look at them go. Right? As the funeral plays on, this is all about their departure. And then we've got this amazing full-length Uzarhat under a tree with all of the little birds. Just take a look at the detail right there. And of course, an offering being made. But the detail and the work on this opening section is just astounding, and I wish that you were here to share it with me. Let's check. Let's go over to this side so we don't have quite as much glare. There we are, Thoth and Osiris and Anubis. Right? Thoth, the giver of knowledge, making an offering of writing to Anubis, or to Amun and Anubis. And down here we have what looks like Horus receiving an offering as well. Right. Now we're going to head into the tomb. It's just going to be a very, very quick one because it's unfinished. It was never actually completed. But what I do want to show up, and I'm hoping it's going to show, is we're going to take a look at the ceiling. I'm going to come over here. I don't know if you can see all these grooves in the top from where people were rough handling plaster and cement, I guess, what you would call cement, and then squishing it in and moving it around with their hands. These are the handprints, or the finger gouges of workers from 4,000 years ago, all along the walls and the ceiling. You can see them all along the pillars as well, as they slowly roughed out a shape into a square pillar, and then they would finish it off, smooth it down so that they could then start planning it out, and then finally sketching, drawing, etching, or painting on it. And of course, that's what it would look like beforehand as they were roughing out all the stone. And we're not going back there because that would have been the final resting place. So this is the end of the tomb of Uzarat. Have yourself a great time. I'm going to leave you with a slightly better picture than that because I would hate to leave you on a picture that poor. So I will leave you with Horus, wishing you the best. And this time we're at the the tomb of Khonsu, who is the high priest in the mortuary temple of Thutmose III. We're going to take a quick look because it is partially, it's not all that well preserved, but there are some really amazing pieces that I definitely want to show you. So first we're going to come in, we're going to pass these low relief pieces. We'll come down this way. There's not a lot left in here, but you can still see the color. You can still see the paintings. You can still see the ceremonial boats being headed off to the mortuary temple. And again, there they are. You'll see them being carried, which is a beautiful picture of the procession heading off while others are making offerings. Just a quick look up here. Look at the detail. Right. We're going to find that a lot of this has also disappeared, but there are some absolutely amazing pieces. There we are again. Anubis and Osiris receiving offerings, assumedly from Khonsu. But, oh, there we are. We have our musical instrument of Hathor the Shektis. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I could be entirely wrong. But let's go on to our ceremonial boats here. Can I get this without glare? And without me in the picture? No, I guess not. But the detail and the work in here is just amazing. This is beautiful stuff. And as you can tell, there's pieces of it missing on and off, back and forth. You can see how many of the eyes are gone as later cultures, especially the early Christians, came along and defaced the process. But that's not what I want to show you. First, we'll take a very quick look down here. That's what you would have seen pretty well all the way along the base. If we look up, there's this absolutely crazy looking roof. So much time and effort would have been made just in painting every square inch of this place. Again, as the high priest, Khonsu would have been afforded a fair bit of money and expenditure in making sure that his journey into the afterlife goes really well. Again, not much to see along here. I do want to point out just very, very briefly if I can. This, again, the huge, deep shaft going down presumably to his tomb, but I'm not going to crawl down and find out. And it may not be that anywhere, but this is what I want to show you. Again, we have our jackals up top, protecting and watching. But look at the detail on this. Let's make sure I don't trip. Look at the gods. Look at the faces. Look at how bright and absolutely completely vibrant that paint still is. Thousands of years, and this is what it still looks like. Right, there he is, Khonshu in all of his glory with his leopard skin. Right. Obviously a symbol of absolute authority. Osiris and Anubis receiving his offerings. This is probably one of the best pieces I've seen so far today, and I am so glad that I did. It's astounding, and we'll go back to our jackals to be watching over you as we take off. So there we are, Khonshu's tomb.